Replacing the impeller, or as it's called in English, the impeller of a marine inboard engine, is a crucial operation for the maintenance of the proper functioning of the engine's cooling system. The impeller is a fundamental part of the engine's water pump, which ensures the correct flow of water to cool the engine. Today, we'll replace it together. You'll see, it's very simple. Hello everyone, sailors and seafarers, and as always, welcome to Vela Studio. Why do we need to check and replace the impeller? First of all, over time, the impeller blades can deteriorate or break due to constant use and water conditions. Additionally, by replacing, we can prevent cooling issues because a worn impeller doesn't pump water effectively, causing the engine to overheat, which can lead to serious and almost always costly damage. Also, even if the impeller appears to be in good condition, it's recommended to replace it every year as part of preventative maintenance to ensure the entire engine water system works properly. What do you need to change the impeller? Each engine has its own separate water pumps. There are no standard pumps, and each of these pumps has its own dedicated impeller tip. In my case, all you need is a ratchet, and if the impeller doesn't want to come out, an extractor. But for other pumps, you might need other tools like wrenches or a socket. First of all, make sure the engine is turned off and cool. And always disconnect the battery for safety. Whenever you're working with water, the first thing to do is always to close the engine seacock with its safety valve. Okay, now we can proceed. Here is the water filter. As you can see, it's a bit dirty, so I'll need to clean it. I refer you to the video, How to Clean the Water Filter, which is already available on the Hinelson Academy YouTube channel. Now let's go ahead and change the impeller. Locate the water pump. As we've already mentioned, the water pump is different depending on the engine model. After making sure you have all the right tools and have identified the location where your impeller is housed, because I'd like to remind you that every engine is unique. If you can't find it, you'll need to check the instruction manual. In my case, the impeller is right here. Next, remove the pump cover using the appropriate wrenches. From this angle, I think you'll be able to follow the work on the impeller quite well. For me, the best tool for this job is the ratchet. Please be aware that some water might come out, of course, so it's a good idea to have a rag handy, just in case. Remember not to over-tighten the impeller cover fasteners. As you can see, water is already starting to come out. And the more we loosen the screws, the more water will come out. You see, once the water has finished draining from here, then we can replace the impeller. To avoid this spillage, you could place a basin or something similar underneath to protect yourself from the water coming out. Let's continue. Hold on to the impeller cover, otherwise it might fall into the engine compartment. As always, the bigger the boat, the easier it is to work. The smaller the boat, the more cramped the spaces will be. But that's not always the case. One very important thing, Hinelson Academy is a free service for enthusiasts, but also for anyone who wants to get into boating in general. So if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell. This way, you'll stay up to date on every new release, and you'll also help us keep our already large community of sailors active. Once you've opened the pump, carefully remove the worn impeller. Sometimes you may need an impeller puller. Okay, we've removed the cover. By looking at the cover, you can see where the impeller has pressed the most. Now, let's take out the old impeller. Here we go, and this is the impeller, which actually looks to be in good shape. Check the condition of the old impeller to assess its wear, and look for any fragments that might have been left inside the pump or in the system. As you can see, there are no significant signs of wear, neither on the metal part nor on the rubber part. We simply have the angle of the vanes, which is caused by rotation, so this one is still in good condition. You can keep it as a spare part just in case, if the new one unfortunately turns out to be defective. Once you've done this, you also need to remove the O-ring. Here it is. This also needs to be replaced. In the impeller kit, in addition to the gasket and new screws, you'll also find a small amount of glycerin, usually, but it's not always just glycerin. It could also be another type of lubricant. In this case, I put it in here to show you about how much lubricant you'll need. Now, let's lubricate the impeller, the O-ring, and also a bit of the cover, then we'll reassemble everything. The more lubricated it is, the better. Now, let's also lubricate the cover a bit. As we mentioned before, and now it's time to lubricate the O-ring as well. And here we are, ready to reassemble everything. Insert the new impeller into the pump, making sure the blades bend in the correct direction, which is usually the direction the engine rotates. Place a new gasket if needed, or an O-ring, as in our case. Put the pump cover back on and tighten it with the screws and bolts that you removed earlier. Here we are, back at our water pump. Now let's put the O-ring back in place. Once the O-ring is in position, we'll also put the impeller back in place, making sure to consider which way the blades will turn. When you remove the previous impeller, you could see the direction of the blades, if you're not sure which way it goes. Here, you just need to put it back into its seat. And here it is, installed in its place. Nice, new, and lubricated. Now, using the new screws provided, we'll put the cover back on. To check that it's installed correctly, reconnect the battery and start the engine, making sure that the cooling system is working properly by checking water flow outside and monitoring the engine temperature. Before starting the engine, always remember to dry any water that may be present in the engine compartment under the water pump, and also open the safety valve to allow water to enter. Keep in mind that every engine may have different specifications, so it's always a good idea to consult the owner's manual or the engine service manual for specific instructions. After the change, it's also good practice to check the cooling system during the first uses to make sure everything is working properly. In conclusion, if you follow these steps, your inboard marine engine will remain efficient and reliable, helping you avoid potential damage caused by cooling system issues. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share this video with friends who don't know how to change the impeller. Fair winds, not too little, not too much, but just right.